nice and not respect my property and take my signs down for me. Well, for those of you who care to try the same thing that I'm going to try, I'm about to show you how I'm going to try to remedy this situation. Okay, for those of us with the handy little Ideal reloading tool, also known as the Lee hand reloading tool, I will simply take spent cartridges, in this case some .357 Magnums, as well as 30-30. And if you don't have the reloading outfit, but you do have the actual spent cartridges, you could use a nail or something like that. Pop out the primer so that, as you can see, it is empty. Now, next step, find any wire or stronger material of the such, thin enough to string down through the open spot where the primer used to be in the shell. We simply measure, maybe about this distance, cut off, and we'll do one for each of the empty cartridges. In this case, I'm going to do half a dozen. Next step is I happen to have some tiny washers in my shop here. I'm merely going to, making sure that they're smaller, obviously, than the mouth of the empty .357 or whatever you're using, but not as large as the primer hole. And I affix the end of it quite vigorously to the around the washer, like such, and following that, I string it up through the opening and the primer hole. Noticing, as I do now, that the primer hole is smaller. So, let's see here. There we go. Actually, if you have a larger wire, as I do here, it might be more advantageous to string it through the larger end, as it's not as laborious to get it. So, I do that. Then you have, hence, a hanging, visible .357 shell, or again, whatever your choice is. Okay, so what we have here is cartridges on wires. I will go ahead and put my signs back in their appropriate places in my yard where they belong, and show you my intentions with these new anti-theft devices. Okay, I've replaced my signs, and I'm simply going to take the aforementioned ammunition, dummy ammunition mind you, and place it someplace upon each sign, adorning as such as a subtle reminder that the individual who owns this property is not particularly fond of people trespassing and going on my own property, my property, mind you, and taking my property and messing with it. So therefore, put a few subtle reminders. I'm going to go get it at Target, and anything else. You have NRA stickers, anything that subtly says, hey, I support gun rights. I may have a few in the house, and, you know, You might want to think of that before you trespass on my land and take my signs.